Welcome to Scott Family Homestead. I'm Christine. We're in the garden today. We got lots to talk about. We had a steer go to butcher and we got a new animal on the farm, and so I'm really excited to show you all the things. But first, really quick, I'm dealing with cucumber beetles. I've got striped cucumber beetles. They've been a problem every year, but this year they have just exploded. So I'm out here with a handheld vacuum. The battery just died on this. I'm gonna keep charging it today and coming back out. It's early morning yet, and so there's not a ton of them out, but I did capture a few. I'm also putting out some of these sticky traps, so I will link these. These are good for indoors too. If you have the little fungus gnats, they're great for that. So you just peel off the paper on it, and it is sticky. Now, I haven't used these for the cucumber beetles, but they love the yellow flowers. That's why you'll find them on your zucchinis and your pumpkins, so they'll be attracted to the yellow. I'm gonna try these. I also ordered the little electric like fly swatters, which I've never been a huge fan of, but at this point they're flying everywhere, and I'm hoping I can just zap a bunch of them, because if I don't take care of this problem now, it's just gonna continue to be a problem year after year. So I'm gonna get these installed on my trellises here and at the base of some of the plants. We'll come check them later today, see how they did. So you can see the damage they're doing is pretty extensive. They're just everywhere. So I'll come back out in a bit. I'll recharge this vacuum up. After surviving the hail, I don't want to lose these guys to pests, so we're going to try our best. Some people said the little sticky traps they're not quite strong enough, and they use Tanglefoot. I don't have any of that on hand, but I'll consider it. We'll see how this stuff does. Look at that wildfire smoke. Is it smoky where you guys are? Today is much better than yesterday. Yesterday you could barely breathe out here. We stayed inside pretty much all day. This is a little bit better. So because of the smoke, I won't be out here super long. I just had to start addressing this issue because they're taking over and they're damaging my plants way too much. I did some work in the high tunnel yesterday, and the smoke doesn't seem to like settle low enough to get in there. It was really easy breathing and it wasn't nearly as bad. I'm sure it's still not good for you, but not quite as hazardous as being out here because it's wildly, wildly smoky. So our pasture's looking a little empty over here. This is where Doug, Fen, and Basil normally are, and yesterday we took Doug to the butcher. So normally he'd be coming here this time of day for his grain. It's one more chore off the list, but it's a little bit bittersweet. We grew Doug here on our farm from birth to butcher. He's the very first steer that we have done that with. He was born here on our farm. Even Fen was purchased as a bottle calf, so he's very unique in that respect. So Doug was born here from Lorelei, who was our mini Jersey that we started out with. She was our very first cow, and our Highland bull. So he was a cross. We knew he wasn't going to get huge because a mini Jersey and a Highland, like neither one of those grow extremely quickly or very large. We knew he was going to be on the smaller side, but delicious beef. That's what people have told us anyways, that Jersey is delicious and Highland is delicious. It's very hard to find any information about the cross itself on the internet, so hopefully we can provide some information for you once we get to try it out. So we took him in yesterday. I just got news that his hanging weight was 420 pounds, so that's about what we were expecting. I was hoping for somewhere in the 400-pound range. It gives us 250 pounds of finished beef. We don't have a lot of money invested into him because we didn't have to buy him as a calf. We grain fed him for the last 3 months, but not excessively. He filled out beautifully. He was, I think, about as big as he was going to get. He was 24 months old. At least I don't think we would have gotten our money's worth out of continuing to grain feed him for those few extra pounds. So I'm very happy with his weight, even though it's quite small for the hanging weight of beef. It's just his breed, his genetics, and the fact that that is coming out of our dairy program. You could value that 250 pounds of meat somewhere between probably about $2,000 and $3,000, depending on what exactly we get back for cuts. And so I'd say for grain feeding for 3 months and otherwise he was just out on pasture, I think we did pretty good, and I'm not mad about it. So we did get his skull back. They skinned it for us, which I was surprised because they asked if we wanted the head back, and we wanted to try to do a mount. We've never done that before, but his horns are pretty cool and we really don't want anything to go to waste. So we're gonna try it for the very first time, and they did skin it for us, which is a huge part of the beginning process. I will link a video that we're kind of following roughly of how we're going to go about the process of cleaning the skull, bleaching the skull, and reattaching the horns. I have thrown around a couple different ways to do this. I have heard that you can bury it. A lot of people say put it on an ant's nest and they'll clean it off, but those take months. Whereas boiling, soaking, power washing, you can have this done in a few days. So we're gonna go ahead and give it a try. I'm not gonna give it a try. I think it's disgusting. I'm not gonna show you a picture either because I think it's gross. But Ryan, I think, is gonna document some of it. We'll see if any of it's worth sharing as we get to the end. But Ryan's gonna take care of it. He's taking on this project. He's pretty excited about it. We'll just see how it goes since we're kind of in the business of Highlands now. And we'll see if we can make like a cool mount out of it. So we are very excited to get the meat. Pretty excited about the mount, but it's definitely bittersweet. So he was Lorelei's last baby, kind of the last little piece of Lorelei, and we watched him from being an hour old. We found him when he was still wet. We didn't see him be born, but very early on, and then growing him out for 2 years and just having him be a part of this farm. Everybody liked to look at them when they went by. We got a lot of comments about him, but he was mean. He was a Jersey through and through. He was not the nicest. He was a bully to our other cows. It was time for him to go. So I don't feel terrible about it, but there's still that little bit, you know, once Ryan pulled away with the trailer yesterday to bring him to butcher, I definitely shed a few tears. It was definitely a little bit hard and heavy. I think ultimately knowing when he was born that was his purpose kind of helps a little bit. But I think maybe when we lose the compassion of like feeling bad at butcher time, then maybe it's not for us anymore. I don't ever want to lose that connection of, okay, this is a sacrifice made for us. So shed a few tears, but we're gonna continue to raise beef. That's what we're in the business of. And I'm gonna be so grateful for every cut of meat that we get out of that. I'm excited to see the actual finished weight. I'm gonna weigh everything out and see what we got. But mostly going for roasts and ground beef. There should be some steaks in there as well. So I'm really interested to see what we get. I'll make sure to document it for you guys. So make sure you are subscribed and following, and you can see what you get out of a Jersey-Highland mix, because there's not a lot of information out there. So we are learning right alongside you. Hoping that it's good and tender. Very interested to see if it has the yellow fat like a Jersey, if it's marbled like a Highland. Very interested. So we're very much in the business of smaller cattle. It's how we wanted it, the decisions that we made early on. As you can see, Basil, she's a year old and she's just a little squirt. She is a low-line Angus, or an Aberdeen, which is basically miniature Angus. So none of our calves are gonna grow to be huge because we're mixing lowline Angus and Highland. So when you look at Moonstone and Jasper and Emerald, they're all really nice calves that are filling out and they're beautiful, but they're not going to be Angus beef. They're never going to be huge animals. We'll just have to see kind of how they turn out, and most of them will be bigger than Doug, but I think this is a really reasonable size to grow. Right now is not the time to switch up into a different type of beef because buying a calf is so expensive, and then you're years out. Even to buy like a 2-year-old cow that's had a baby, you're talking $3,000 to $4,000. And so now's not the time to switch it up. We're gonna continue on with our lowline girls. We love them. They're so sweet, and they have good calving ease. They've been really good for us, but we are in the mini cow game at this point. Little update on my chickens. We have confirmed on video that our predator is a bobcat. We had set a trap to see if it was a raccoon or something, and we only caught Zach, who was highly offended to be in the trap. Now that we know it's a bobcat, we don't really want to trap it. Don't really want to deal with that. I know you can get like a special license, there's nuisance animal things, you know, you can contact the DNR, and we could possibly do that, but we decided that the reason the bobcat was coming around was because we had to put down our blue heeler, Kelty. So about a year and a half ago, we had to put down our blue heeler, Sadie. She was somewhere around 13 years old. And we had adopted her and they didn't know for sure her age, so she was like 12 or 13 years old. I think she was older, to be honest. She lived a really good life, but she had gone blind and deaf, got super aggressive, she was miserable, she was having all kinds of health problems. It was really, really sad to watch her decline like that. And so we lost her about a year and a half ago. And then a couple of months ago, kind of the same progression with Kelty. So she was 14, a little over 14 years old. And we loved her, but same thing, she went deaf, she could barely see, she was getting aggressive, and her health was really declining. She had PLE, which is like a digestive issue, and she was on prescription food since she was 7 years old. When she was 7 years old, they told us she maybe had a couple months, even with the prescription, because she was in bad shape. She had it really bad. And we nursed her back to health, and we held on, and we like did all the tests and put thousands of dollars into it, and the prescription food was like $120 a bag, and we fed her that for the next 7 years, and I have no regrets about it. She ended up being super, super healthy, and she lived so much longer than they had predicted. But she unfortunately just got so sick towards the end. She had lost about half of her weight. So Kelty, when she got towards the end, what she liked to do was like a lap. She had a lap that when we let her out of the house, she would walk the whole farm. And I don't know if she got used to us walking the farm and then she just started to do it, or what her thing was, but it was the same exact routine. And then if we weren't at the door, she would do it again. And so she would come down here by the chickens, and she liked checking out the feeders and stuff down here. And I think it was keeping predators away, but now we don't have anybody down here doing their routine laps. The kids come down to collect eggs, but that's pretty much it. And so I think the lack of farm dog was the problem. So I went on the internet. I went to the Humane Society where we got Kelty 14 years ago and looked, because they have a lot of Amish farms near them and they get a lot of farm dogs, like blue heelers, collies, and they had some puppies there. So they had a mom that came in with 3 puppies, and they were about 3 months old. Mom was up for adoption, and all 3 puppies were. They had 2 males and 1 female. So I applied for the female. She is a border collie heeler mix. She's got a lot of farm dog in her. She's got a lot of energy in her, and she is just the sweetest thing.
So you want cows and chickens? I bet you'll like the chickens. Yep. Yep.
Good girl, good girl. Good girl, good girl.
Hey, we got a new dog. A brand new puppy. Look at it. I just wanted a dog like that. Let me start to walk around.
It's a little girl and she needs a name.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
What should we name her?
I thought if we stuck with the gems, she could be ruby or jade.
She's a doggy. We got two
Or
doggies.
opal.
I wondered why you took a while. Pretty young.
Yep.
And then
She's
we
one of 3 puppies, the only girl.
How big do you think she'll be?
That purple.
They said like 40 pounds, but she's just a big dog. I don't know.
I think we should name her Ruby.
That's what I was really thinking, Ruby. Say welcome home. She has been such a fun addition to the family. She has 0 chill. She's very nippy, very high energy, which is similar to the healers that we had. So we knew what we were getting into, and we knew that she would be a good fit for the farm. We're hoping that we can get her into some routines. It's taking a little while. We've had her for 5 days is all. And so we're getting there. We're doing a lot of leash training. She's on her leash most of the time so we can keep her down, keep her from nipping the kids. But she's learning and she's doing really good. Her and Wilder are kind of figuring it out. So Wilder is our mini Aussie Doodle. She's bigger than him already, and so he thinks he's in charge, but she thinks she's in charge. So they are working it out, and they're actually starting to play with each other. It's just that Wilder tires of it quickly and then kind of like snaps or growls, and we have to like separate them. So they're figuring it out. We are walking Ruby down by the chickens on a leash. She's interested but not chasing, so that is good. She is terrified of the cows, she's terrified of the pigs. So we are kind of introducing her to them. And I think she's going to be a really good fit. I almost did take her mama home too. I asked to see her and they were ready to like sign the papers. She was the sweetest thing. She looked just like Sadie, our first dog, and she was very, very sweet and calm and reserved. And I just thought maybe our high energy house with 4 kids wasn't gonna be the place for her. So I was gonna think about it and possibly go back the next day and get her, and she was adopted out in the meantime. So very thankful that she got a home. One of the other puppies has been adopted. I think they have 1 left, but I'm sure they'll all go to good homes. We are super happy to have her. She is our 3rd shelter dog, and they are just the sweetest. You don't always know what you're gonna get, and it takes a little bit of training, but especially us being on a farm and having the ability to take some of these dogs that would have a harder time finding a home in town or in an apartment. Like, she just would never have thrived in those conditions. Just happy to give her her very own farm. We're working on the same old projects, a lot of daily stuff. We got meat birds. We now have 3 groups of meat birds. So we've got 4-week-olds, 2-week-olds, and day-olds. Working through rotating them into tractors, getting them out of brooders, all that kind of stuff. Daily chores, daily grind, watering everybody. Tons and tons of water. It's been in the 90s every day, but we're hanging in there. Very warm, very smoky. I'm gonna go inside. I'm gonna enjoy my day with the kids. We've been doing a lot of indoor things. We played Monopoly yesterday. It went on for hours. Not doing that today, but we'll find some games to play. We're trying to do like screen-free summer, or at least very limited screen time. But I think we're gonna get screens today. With 90 degrees and smoky outside, probably gonna have to introduce some of that back into their day. So we're just kind of sticking to the same old grind, taking care of the garden, all those things. I'm gonna try to take care of these cucumber beetles, stay on top of that, but otherwise we're gonna lay low. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you for hanging out with me, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye guys.